Todd Whitting, 36 years old, who about 5'9", a little over 240. Trained arms today at Coops gym up here in Saginaw, Michigan. It's a really good gym. I would encourage anybody in the area to come check it out. It's really good facility, tons of equipment, whether you're into bodybuilding or CrossFit or powerlifting or just a regular fitness enthusiast. They've got everything here, and it's a really big, nice place.
Okay, bud, so you're coming off, you had your pro win last year, North America's. You won the 35 and over class, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so how's everything going? How's the off season been, and what are your plans for like the upcoming future and stuff, bud?
Sure. So coming off North Americans, I just kind of took some time to, I guess, soak it all in. Come to the realization now that I can compete as a IFBB pro, which is kind of crazy and surreal. But this off season, I've really just been training hard when my body allows me to because of some injuries. And I've kept my diet more strict in the off season than I've ever been able to. And I would say that this COVID lockdown thing has been really beneficial for me in that regard, because I'm at home, I'm working from home, so I'm home constantly, so I don't have to worry about traveling and packing food and meal prepping a ton of food and packing it and eating cold chicken and rice in my car. So it's a lot easier because it's a lot tastier, I guess you could say, to eat like warm rice and chicken and stuff that is freshly cooked. And I've been really good about just eating a lot of good food and having a cheat meal here and there, and been able to keep it pretty tight. And probably my biggest and leanest I've ever been, and just kind of feeling good right now. I like I said, I've had a couple injuries. My shoulder's been bothering me off and on for years, so that flares up where I have to train around it here and there. I partially tore something in my quad a few months ago, where I really wasn't able to train legs the way that I need to. And I see legs as kind of my weak point that I need to bring up to be able to compete at the pro level. So now I'm feeling good and able to train legs hard, and I just hope that I can continue that trend and put some size on my legs and kind of see where I'm at. I mean, I think realistically, like we were talking earlier, I think if I can be on stage shredded over 225, I'll feel confident. I'm not saying I'm going to win a pro show, but I'm saying I'll stand up there and be able to hold my head confidently that I belong, right? And wherever that is, wherever that lands me placing wise, it lands me, and I'll be good with that, and it'll be a place to start.
So Todd, what do you attribute now, as opposed to when you're younger, that you're staying harder, you're leaner, with more size? Like, do you attribute that to something you're doing, or do you think that is just eating clean, or is it genetics, or do you feel muscle maturity? What do you think about that?
I would just say that it's consistency and not being lazy, like on the diet side more than anything else. I think in the past, my off seasons, I would eat 6 meals a day, but I think that there's Chipotle or Qdoba double chicken meal isn't the same as me having 8 ounces of chicken breast and 2 cups of white rice, right? Like it just isn't. It doesn't equate the same, right? The quality of the food equals a quality of physique, and I'm not saying that you can't have that stuff in the off season, and I do have it here and there, but not like on a regular basis like I had in the past. So it's like, instead of being 70-30, 80-20, good versus whatever food in the off season. I've been more like 90-10, clean food 90% of the time, and like 10% of the time eating out and having cheat meals and foods in abundance, stuff like that. And honest to God, I think that's not the answer that most people want to hear, right? Because that's the hard shit, right? Like, that's hard to eat 6 meals of your own prepped food every day throughout the year, right? Like for me in the past, it was always, oh, I can do that for 12 weeks or 16 weeks for a diet, but then I need kind of a little bit of a break. And I've kind of just changed my mindset where I'm just like, fuck it, man. You know, I'm if I'm doing this, I might as well fucking do it all the way, right? Like, so I'm just kind of giving it all I got in that regard, and I feel like it's paying off, and I've got a better quality physique than I've had in the past. So I'm gonna continue doing it and continue increasing that food, and hopefully 6 months from now, a year from now, I'll be to the point where I think I can diet it down and be 225, 230 shredded.
I know a lot of guys, especially at the amateur level, who are starting off, who are having problems. They always, I don't want to say complaining is a strong word, but always like talking about getting their meals down, like just getting their food in. Was that a problem you ever had, like taking your food and getting it down and stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. I think appetite is definitely a problem. And I think there's a lot of different factors that you can look into. I think my appetite has been good because I've learned what foods my body digests faster and just doesn't bog me down. So I think you kind of have to figure that out. And I think that also the more plain, simple chicken and rice type meals, eggs and grits, and for me, those, my body digests those fast, and then I'm hungry again in 2 hours, right? Whereas when I'm eating stuff with a bunch of oils and processed foods and pancakes and shit like that, like, I'm not hungry again in 2 or 3 hours usually. So that's helped me too, because I've chosen foods that my body can digest more easily and be ready to eat the next meal. And I think too, just, you know, I think certain supplements that we take, you got to find which ones that don't mess up your digestive system. I think those things have a large role on your appetite and your digestive system.
That's interesting. And like, now you're not doing any kind of cardio right now in the off season stuff. This is just by like diet that you kind of are controlling your body fat and stuff like that. And also, if you like, the main purpose or the main improvement area you would want, I guess, was your legs. Like, what would you want to mainly do with your legs to try and bring them up to where you'd want them to be?
Okay, so yeah, my legs definitely need the most improvement, I would say, overall on my physique. I need size everywhere, but that's priority number one. Honestly, I've had a couple quad hip injuries over the past 2 years. I was kind of prepping for North Americans with an issue where I wasn't really able to push the weight that I needed to, and I did lose some of that fullness and size in my legs. So priority number one has just been getting healthy, and then getting back to some more compound movements at a heavier, more intense level that I just wasn't really able to do. I was having to do too light a weight, and no matter how many reps I was doing, it just wasn't stimulating my muscle, you know, the quads and glutes and hamstrings the way that, you know, some good old squats does, right? So I've been getting into just doing some free weight squats and going heavier on hack squats and going heavier on some different squat machines and leg presses, and just trying to slowly throw in some heavier sets to get I think after you hurt yourself, it's a little bit in your head. So I'm trying to break past that with a set here and there to build up my confidence so that I know that I can do that and I can handle that and I'm not going to hurt myself. So that's kind of where I'm at. It's just getting healthy and then doing the things that I know that work for me.
So just to go a little bit into the workout today, so you did train arms today. Just tell us a little bit about your arms, history of like you had a hard time growing your arms in the past and stuff. And talk about your forearms a little bit, because I think that could be something where we were discussing off camera how you feel like you feel a lot of your arm training in your forearms and ways you've tried to avoid that, or if you think it's even an issue. So.
Yeah, we have talked about that. My forearms are definitely like dominant to the point of when I do a back workout or an arm workout, my forearms get intensely pumped up before anything else. I don't know if I'm gripping the bar too strong. I feel like that's not it. I feel like I've kind of tried everything and just it is what it is for me, right? So I just kind of have to work through that pump and try to still work through that. Like today, I try to honestly not do. I try to do more, bilateral movements where my left and right arm are kind of separate, because I did years ago injure my right arm. Where I actually I fractured my humerus and I had surgery and kind of had a poorly done surgery where part of my bicep and tricep got nicked by the surgeon and they're not really there. So my right arm is always a little bit lagging strength and size wise. So if I do like the bilateral movements, then when my right arm, my smaller arm fails, then I stop with my left, because if not, my left arm would be 23 inches and my right arm would be 19. I don't know. But so I try to keep it in check that way. And honestly, just I've been training less arms lately, because once again, I feel like it's harder on my body, like on my elbows. Like I think training too much arms and it's hard on my elbows and wrists. So it's like I'm kind of just like today, I did I think 3 movements, nothing crazy on each. It's just like let's get a couple heavy sets in. Let's do a lot of volume and get blood in there. And they still get trained. Triceps get trained on shoulders day and chest day, and my biceps get a good workout on back day. So I think that it's easy to overtrain those, and then you get tennis elbow and golfer's elbow, and like some of these nagging injury crap that then doesn't allow you to train other stuff properly. So those are kind of some things that I've just had to adjust and learn the hard way over the years. And I feel like my arms are biggest they've been, probably a little over 20 inches. So not huge, but best they've ever been for me.
What do you feel like when you started, Bud? At what point did you know that I just want to do this? I love this. I just like, not a career or whatever, but that you just knew you loved coming to the gym, training, and this lifestyle and this discipline. Like, at what point, or was there a single moment that made you decide you really appreciated that and wanted that lifestyle? Or think about that, I guess. Tell us a little bit about that.
That's an interesting question. I think I started out like a lot of people, where with sports in high school, we learned how to powerlift incorrectly, probably by our football coaches, right? To do stupid weight that we can't handle. But I did enjoy that, the being in there and getting a pump and getting stronger and competing against other guys. the first time I ever competed was 2007, and honestly had no idea what to happen. I ended up winning the middleweight division and the overall, and was like, oh, this might be something I could do well in. And I didn't train, or I didn't compete again for 3 more years. And it was prepping for the Michigan in 2010, and some guys that were a little bit older at the gym were like, oh, Todd, I don't think you're ready for this show, right? Like, you probably shouldn't do this. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I didn't listen to them, and I just prepped, and I ended up winning the whole show, and I think at that point I just said, you know what, I can't listen to anybody else. I love bodybuilding. I'm just doing this for me. Fuck everybody else and their opinions. And I like training. I like challenging myself with weights and challenging myself with the diet and getting stupid shredded and just putting out a plan and making it work and proving people wrong. And that's kind of maybe that was it, right? Where like people were telling me like, I don't think you can do this. And I went out and I did it. And it's like, I've kind of had a chip on my shoulder a little bit ever since. And I mean, even to this day, I think every show that I've ever won, nobody's ever really thought I would win it other than myself. So, I just do it for me and say, hey, just watch, sit back and watch, right? And that's kind of been my mentality.
That's very cool. That's awesome. One other thing I wanted to ask you about, because so many people in the industry, so many athletes, male and female I work with, have such designated days where I train chest Monday, blah, 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 and yours rotates. Tell us a little bit about that and how you rotate your workout. And do you do the same movement, like your arm day? Every arm day is obviously not going to look like today. So tell us a little bit about how your rotation is and then what you do each day.
Yeah, so I mean, for me, my schedule doesn't always let me go to the gym Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, right? Or whatever it is. Like, my schedule's always different. So sometimes I just need a day off, right? Or sometimes I just can't get to the gym. So that doesn't work for me. I can't say, well, Monday's always chest day, or else I might skip chest day one week, right? So I just kind of have a rotation. It's like, every week I've got a rotation of chest, back, legs, arms, shoulders. Then I go back to legs, and then I'm back to chest. Right? And then it's just a rotation. So it's basically about every 4th to 5th workout I'm training legs, and then the other ones are kind of just revolving through there.
What about the actual movement? So will you switch that up depending on what you want?
So I do switch up my workouts for most of my workouts. I mean, I know the progressive overload thing is a big trend, and I do believe in it. I don't think that you can do it indefinitely. It's not a linear thing, right? So I think that for me, I will say, okay, the workout that I'm tracking right now is hack squats, right? And I'll make sure that next week, whatever I did this week, next workout, I'm gonna beat that, right? Either by reps or by weight. And when I get to the point where I can't do that, then I'm gonna probably not do hack squats for a couple weeks, and then I'm gonna switch it up and move to leg press. And leg press is gonna be more of my heavy, let's try to set a PR type of thing, which I hate people saying PRs, to be honest with you. I feel like that's so cliche. I hate it. But yeah, that too. But that's kind of my way of training. It's a lot of just intuitive, not so much here's what it is on paper, this is what I'm going to do. And I think that's just kind of evolved over the years. But previously it was like I knew exactly what I was going to do before I went into the gym, every single weight and how many reps I was going to try to get and what order I was going to do my workouts in. And I don't know, I think that was kind of, it was good, right? I learned a lot, but let's just focus on training fucking hard, right? Getting in and getting out, and then going back and recovering. I think we get worked up in fucking keeping our notebooks and making sure we beat ourselves last week. Well, that's good, but at the end of the day, we're bodybuilders. We're not powerlifters, right? So I think we have to use that as a tool, but not necessarily use it as the holy grail of what we do. So that's just kind of my 2 cents on the thing.